Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we talk about everything financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about one of the credit unions that we all know, we all love. Navy Federal is the largest credit union in the United States, and it's most loved because they have low interest rate products. They have no money down mortgages, high limit credit cards. Most of us are aware of all the benefits, but there are some other things that they do have with Navy Federal that also have benefits that they do not tell you, or that you are unaware of unless you ask them, or unless you look into it, or you watch videos like this where we disclose this hidden information. So today we're going to be going over 5 things that Navy Federal will not tell you, and hopefully some of these things can actually benefit you. So let's get started. The first one that we're going to be looking at is going to be the Navy Federal Prepaid Cards. I know that probably seems like something very vague, but we're going to go into some of the benefits of the Navy Federal Prepaid Card. So the Navy Federal Go Prepaid Card, account owners can use their debit card or their credit card, Visa or MasterCard only, to fund their Go Prepaid account. The name on the funding card, it must belong to the account owner. They don't accept any other forms of payment. It has to be a debit card or a credit card that's issued by Navy Federal. It cannot be issued by another financial institution. It has to be just Navy Federal. And while there's no charge for ordering the Go Prepaid card, you must initially fund the card with at least $20. When you order a Navy Federal Go Prepaid card, you'll be required to enter your funding card information. And there's a special note here. When funding the Go Prepaid card with a credit card, the funding transaction is processed as a regular purchase transaction and not a cash advance. You can withdraw cash from the ATM at a maximum of $600 per day. You can also add up to 5 cards for family members or friends. So essentially, if you get 5 of these cards, then you can withdraw $3,000 per day, which would ultimately, if you had 4 days of doing this, you'd be able to withdraw $10,000 in cash. This would be all from your credit card or your debit card. So one advantage of that is now if you did want to get cash from your Navy Federal credit card and you did not want to pay a cash advance fee, or you wanted to use more than what was allowed, you can actually fund this Go Prepaid card, and then you can withdraw the actual cash from that. So I guess it'd be a way of liquidating, but again, you want to know that your APR is still going to be the same if you do this within a certain period. Like if you do it at the end of a statement cycle, you're going to have 30 days really to pay it back. My recommendation is to do something like this the day before your statement cycle date closes. That way it starts in a new cycle. You ultimately get around like 60 days almost to pay that back. So that would be a nice little trick where if, for whatever reason, you just needed cash and you couldn't use credit, this would be an alternative to that. Or if you need to take that money, deposit it for something in particular, income verification, down payment on mortgage, anything like that, whatever the case may be, that might possibly be an option for you. And I'm just going to take you to the website so that way you could see this, because again, this information is subject to change. So at the time of recording, all of this information is valid. Right. So right now we are on the Navy Federal website. We're in the Go Prepaid Card portion, and spend money the smart way. And you can see Go Prepaid, it delivers a convenient, flexible, and secure way to spend and send money that you and your family can bank on. And when you look at it here, it's for families. It's for you to be able to track spending, set a budget, monitor the account balances, load and reload the card. How it works, you can go to the prepaid card online, activate and load the money onto the Go Prepaid card through the mobile app, and then shop online or in stores anywhere Visa debit cards are accepted. And it lets you know that you get convenience, flexibility, and security. You can download the Navy Federal Go Prepaid mobile app. So there's a dedicated mobile app for this particular card. And if we go down to the facts right here, what payment method can I use in order to fund my card? And I copied the exact information here, but we can go over it again. Account owners can use their Navy Federal debit card or credit card. And right here, note, when funding the Go Prepaid card with a credit card, the funding transaction is processed as a regular purchase transaction, not a cash advance. And then you can also order the Go Prepaid Card for additional users. So you can definitely check this out, especially at the time of recording. And you can see point of sale transactions are $3,000 per day. ATM withdrawal limit is $600. Account owners can customize the limit for card holders. Total card load is $10,000. No monthly activation or purchase fee. So this is something that you can definitely look into. It might be an additional benefit for you if you are looking to do that, and you can get as creative with it as you would like. Number 2, that's going to be the auto increase limit. This is something that sounds really good, right? And I'm actually testing something out right now. I may do a follow-up video for just this one individual thing, but Navy Federal will automatically increase your credit limit. This is a feature that it sounds wonderful, but can also prevent you from maximizing your full limit. I'm just going to give you a quick example. I was trying to get another $8,000 increase on one of my Navy Federal credit cards, my personal credit card. When I got to month 5, it was like 1 month before I could actually do I was going to be looking at doing the increase. It was like maybe, let's say like 150 days in, almost getting close to the 81st day when you should, or the recommended date. They did an auto increase of $1,500. So instead of getting the $8,000 increase that I could have requested manually, I only got $1,500. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but like I said in previous videos, the CEO of FICO even stated when you're trying to get higher limits on all your other credit cards, they look at what other banks are offering you. So that additional $8,000 could have helped me get increases on all of my credit cards when I did a credit line increase. I tried to do them all at the same time. So this would have had a trickle effect to hopefully increase all of them at the same time, which then could have gotten me higher limits on even business credit cards that I wanted to apply for. So that's one of the things that I was really upset about, because now I'm like, I gotta wait another 6 months. So when I called, I did find out that from the representative that I spoke with, you do not actually have to wait 6 months for a limit increase. That's the recommended date. So the automatic increase didn't have to wait 6 months. It could be 4, it could be 5. They can just do it. They are also able to turn this feature off. So if you want to be able to maximize your limit, you can turn it off. Now, I do have, from what I've been researching, there is a theory of mine that the auto limit increase may not affect that 180 days, that 6-month credit limit increase, that pretty much that method that we're all familiar with. So I'm testing it out now. I'm trying to see if in this time frame, can I request another increase on top of that? If so, I'll come back and update this video, because it would be awesome if auto increases can be on, and they may give you a couple, maybe $1,500, $2,000 increase here and there, but it won't affect you asking for $8,000 later. That way you might be able to get a $10,000 increase within like a 7-month, 8-month time frame. So I'm still testing that. I don't have any information to confirm it, but I will keep you in the loop. But if that's something that you had seen happen, just know that I would turn the auto limit increase feature off, because you could have manually requested way more. They may have given you a counter offer. In my opinion, for where my score was, the other cards that I just got limit increases on, I would say that I probably would have gotten the full 8,000, but instead this is what I got. I got 1,500. So just bear that in mind. It's something that, again, they don't tell you. You would have to actually call them and ask them to turn this feature off. Now, if the counter happens and turns out you could do this and request a manual, I'll update this video and I'll come back with that information, and then it might be better to keep it turned on. But I will keep you posted with that information as I learn it in real time. Number 3 that we're going to be looking at will be credit line migration. Now, this is something that I've worked at a few banks. A lot of them offer this exact same thing. I didn't know that it was something with Navy Federal that you can actually do. So when you reallocate credit line, by that, I mean you're moving credit line from one card to the other. You can move it with Navy Federal, and the account has to be open for 1 year. And that would be really helpful if you want to complete a balance transfer. So I'm going to give you an example. I had someone ask me what I recommend for a consolidation loan, and I told them I don't have any recommendations because everything's based off of, circumstances. if you have a consolidation loan for your debt and the interest rate is high, if it's lower than my APR on my card, then I guess it makes sense. If it's not, then I wouldn't do it, right? Or there has to be a specific reason why. Now, let's say you wanted to do a balance transfer. Let's say you have a Navy Federal card that has 50,000 and another one that has 30,000. You can take the 30,000 from one card, add it to the other. You now have $80,000 on one card. And now you can do a balance transfer and you can consolidate all of your debt onto this one card. And a lot of balance transfers, they have low APR. Occasionally there'll be promotions for 0% APR. So if you had a credit card that was just out of hand, maybe $50,000 in debt, and your interest is like $2,000 or $3,000 a month. I mean, the interest is killing you. You can't even pay on the principal because you can't beat the interest. This would be a situation where this benefit comes into play. Now you can put all of it to one card, 0% APR, and you can pay it down on the actual principal. Just imagine how much money that would save you if you were paying $2,000 in interest, and now you get to pay $2,000 plus extra on top of that to pay down that balance. And if you have a year to do so, you can really make a dent in that. I mean, if you could do that for $2,000 for a year, that's $24,000. That can be half of that entire balance. And if you could throw a little extra on there, that would be great. It'll give you a lot of time to be able to really get that down. And then you can go do a balance transfer somewhere else with a different card and then pay down the other $24,000 within another year. Now you were able to pay that without paying any interest, 0% APR, by using this and by using this reallocation strategy. So again, this is something that I didn't know that they had available at Navy Federal, and it can be good just depending on how you're going to use it and how you're going to reallocate those funds. All right. Number 4 is going to be viewing your internal score. So a couple things with this. Some of us may or may not know, but Navy Federal has an internal score that can range from 100 to 450. And Navy Federal will use this and your personal credit score, usually your TransUnion FICO 9, to determine what approval odds you'll receive as well as low interest rates. And based off this internal score, you may be approved for lower interest rates and higher limits, even if your credit score is low. So that's one of the huge benefits of having an internal score. The internal score, like for another example, there's someone who on our $80,000 Navy Federal flagship credit card video, they had a 580 credit score and got approved for the flagship for, I believe, $11,000. And I think I pinned that comment because I thought that was really amazing, because that just goes to show you didn't have to have the strongest credit score if you have a high internal score. And you can do things like get the pledge loan, use the certificate, make deposits, get products with Navy Federal, and definitely make sure that you're depositing money and you're building that relationship. You don't necessarily have to have the strongest credit score. You can have a strong internal score. Now, your credit score is taken into account, but it's not the end all be all. And that's the main point. So if your internal score is lower than about 250, I would probably wait before applying for anything. And a lot of people don't know how to find their internal credit score. So that's where, this information comes into play. Anytime you apply for a credit card product, Navy Federal is going to send you a letter. And if you look on the back of that letter, it's usually on page 1, then you'll see your internal credit score. So it is a number between 100 and 450. That's the only way that I know of that you can actually see your score. You can try to call, you can try to ask. A lot of times, some of the people who work there don't even know what that is. I've worked in a place where it's like internally, you have to understand that sometimes it's just a job. And there's some things that I'm not going to know about that. If you're someone who is looking into something like a strategy or something like how we're doing, you're going to be more involved in this than I will, even if it's my job. So I understand. I've been on the other side, so I get it. You're not going to know all that stuff because to you, it's not really that important. You're just trying to do your job. So again, some of them don't even know what that is. This is the definite way that you can find it. So if you are approved for a credit card, you will be able to see your internal score. If you're denied for a credit card, you will see your internal score. I want to give you a tip to actually seeing your internal score that probably seems obvious. I'm not sure that I heard anybody ever mention it on YouTube, but what you can do is freeze your credit scores. Freeze your credit scores and then apply for something with Navy Federal. Apply for a credit card, apply for something. You will get denied because they're not able to actually see your score. but you will receive a letter in the mail. That letter should have your internal score on it. Now, sometimes I've seen where it doesn't, but this has worked for me in the past. When I wanted to see my internal score, I just go apply, freeze, denied, letter in the mail. You're denied because we weren't able to access your with the internal score. And then they'll also have some tips that you can actually see on that letter about how to improve your internal score. Like they'll have things like number of inquiries on the credit bureau, your report saying that it's too high. They'll have like balance statuses. They'll have length of Navy Federal membership. So that the time that you've been a member actually does matter. That can all affect your actual internal score. So you do want to be aware of that. So a lot of these things do add up. Account balances can also be a factor. And, you want to put yourself in the best position to get approved for their products and their services. So again, that's the reason why we hyper focus on building that relationship to really grow that internal score. That internal score is just as, if not more important than our actual personal credit score. So just keep that in mind and let me know if that tip still works. I haven't done it in a while, but you can try that, freeze everything, apply, get a letter in the mail with the denial, and then you can see your internal score without having to actually apply for something and take a hard inquiry. Or if you apply for something and you're approved, just know that you'll be able to actually see it that way as well, or if you are denied. Number 5, credit pools. Now, credit pools, it's going to be a couple things. I want to talk about when's the best time to submit them, like to submit an application to get a credit pool and where they're actually going to be pulling from. So this is going to be some information that I'm not sure is still relevant, but it was at a time. Best to submit your application anywhere between 11 p.m. and 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as Navy Federal will be using an automated system. Normally, underwriting is gone. It used to be called the late night approval hack, and it was supposed to give you a higher chance of approval during those hours. I think it was a loophole that Navy Federal was aware of, so it may or may not still work. But currently, they use your TransUnion 9 for everything personal. Experian for the business, but TransUnion FICO 9 for the personal. Except they have been known to pull your Equifax FICO 9 for credit line increases. So you may or may not know that. Memberships, if you're a member, it's currently a soft pull. If you call for like a credit line increase, they will most likely do a hard pull. And you want to avoid this by just doing it through the app. You don't really want to have to call. If you're denied on an application, they can also reuse a hard pull within 30 days if they can match your application with the previous app. Now, we have tools and resources on this channel to remove hard inquiries, but remember, if you're approved for something, you want to keep that hard inquiry. You don't want to remove it. So if you are denied and you want to try again within a certain time frame, like, a 30-day time frame, you can then, instead of taking a second hard pull, you can try again with the original one. If something changed, like let's say you paid down your utilization or something changed where your score increased, then you can call them back and say, hey, can you use this same one? If you're approved, cool. If you're not, we know how to remove it. So, and just another, like a sidebar, you're only allowed 3 credit cards maximum. You can have duplicate cards, but you are only allowed 3 cards maximum on the personal side. And also, if you do get, let's say, a credit pool, you're approved for a credit card, your initial credit line without proof of income, the maximum you could possibly get is $25,000. $25,000 is the maximum amount that you could possibly get without proof of income. And of course, $50K on every card except the flagship, it's $80,000. But for initial, it's always going to be $25,000 without that. One more thing, and you may or may not be aware of this, but when you're doing a credit line increase, if you were denied or you did not get approved, I recommend calling, because sometimes they actually have your credit line increase pending. Sometimes all they need is proof of income. They need to verify something. So always call and ask. They may just need to verify that. And if they verify that, then they can approve you for your credit line increase. And that's something that I've never seen like anybody address or talk about. So just keep that in mind. I would always call if you did not get it and just find out why. because it may be as simple as you calling, verifying some information, and then you're approved. So always double check that. That is pretty much it. Those are 5 things that Navy Federal will not tell you. And if you didn't know, then you are aware now. I may compile another video of a few more things that you may or may not know. But thank you guys so much for watching. If there's anything that you want to add, things that you've found out, add them in the comments. You know, it would be great to actually have here under this video a lot of information that people did not know and that you can share. That way we can all just go down to the bottom of this video and look at all the additional information that we can refer to. So in the comments, add some additional information. If you know anything or if you've benefited or learned anything from this video, please like, please subscribe. Thank you for watching once again, and you guys have a wonderful day.